boys and girls. I've been thinking about you all week. I know that you've heard the grown-ups talking about school and what's it going to be like, what decisions are going to be made for going back to school. I think we hoped that all the virus stuff would be over by the time school started, but we're still going to have to deal with it a little bit longer. And the parents and teachers and everybody involved with your school are making decisions that they think are best for you. It reminded me of this true story about some kids in a country called Pakistan and about their school. And these kids only were able to go to school 3 days a week, and then the other days they had to learn at home. And that story kind of reminded me of what we'll be going through this fall. This is a true story. It also makes me think about the story that Jesus tells, the parable of the Good Samaritan, when the Good Samaritan helped a stranger who was in need, who was hurt, and who was hungry. And even though he didn't know him, he helped him. And we know that Jesus always wants us to help our neighbors and even people we don't know that need help. So this is the true story of a man called Dr. Greg and the 3 cups of tea. It's called Listen to the Wind. We are the children of Kerri. We live in a village in the mountains of Pakistan. Our families grow and gather the food we eat. Our mothers weave and sew the clothes we wear. We make up our own games and we make our own toys. We read our books and we write with our pencils. We study in the school that we helped to build. But before our school was built, we had our lessons outside. We wrote with sticks on the ground. That was before a stranger stumbled into our village. He was cold, hungry, and sick. We gave him tea and food and a bed near the fire. He told us his name was Greg Mortensen and that he was a nurse. He had come from the United States to climb our mountains, but he had lost his way. As he grew stronger, he helped to heal our sick. We called him Dr. Greg. Sometimes he sat outside and helped us with our lessons. He knew that our teacher came just 3 times a week, but that we still had to study at home every day. When Dr. Greg was well enough to go home, he asked Haji Ali, our wisest man, to help him think of something special he could do for our village. Haji Ali answered Dr. Greg with a puzzle. Listen to the wind, he said. Dr. Greg closed his eyes. From above the village on the high flat ground where we sat at our lessons, the wind carried our voices down the path. Dr. Greg heard our voices. He felt the wind blow cold against his face, and he understood. Kerri needed a school. Dr. Greg promised to come back and help us build one. We watched him walk away until he disappeared into the folds of the mountain. 1 year later, we saw a man walking on the path far below our village. It was Dr. Greg. We all ran down to meet him. In the nearest big town, he had collected the lumber, cement, and tools that we would need to build our school. But high above the Baldy River, we had only a single cable there with a small box that could carry 1 person to our mountain from the next mountain. There was no bridge. Without a bridge, no one could bring the heavy loads of building supplies to Kerri. So everyone worked together to build a bridge from our mountain all the way to the mountain on the other side of the river. Many months later, Dr. Greg and our fathers and friends crossed the strong new bridge carrying the supplies we needed to build our school. They continued to climb until they reached the place where we had piled a mountain of stones cut from our own mountain. Haji Ali marked the exact spot where our school was to stand. Our mothers carried water to mix the cement. The men began to lay the stones for our classroom walls. With our small fingers, we wedged tiny slivers of stones into the cement to make the walls stronger. Our school grew each day up from the high flat ground where we used to write with our sticks. Finally, the men attached the roof. They asked Dr. Gregg to hammer in the last nail. Our school was finished. It was time to celebrate. Our wise man, Haji Ali, our teacher Husan, Dr. Gregg who kept his promise, Julia the librarian who brought our books, the craftsmen, the workmen, the porters, the grown-ups of Corfy, the children of Corfy, even the yaks and the dozos and the goats and the sheep all marched together to our new school. I don't know if your teachers would want you to have goats and yaks at our schools, huh? Shirtaki blessed the building. We ran into our school with Husan, who could now come teach us every day. We are the children of Corfy. We live in a village in the mountains of Pakistan. We write Urdu and English. We add and subtract. We read our books, explore our maps. We are learning in the school that we helped to build. We are the children of Corfy. Can you hear our voices? Listen to the wind. I don't know if you can see it, but those are some of the real pictures. And I wanted to remind you of a part in the story where they said that they were only going to school a few days a week and then learning at home. That sounds familiar, right? And that once Dr. Gregg promised him that he would build him a school, he didn't even come back for a whole year. And then it must have taken a long time to build that bridge and build that school. So they had to be very patient while they were waiting for a normal school and a normal school week. I know that it was worth it. And I think that you can be patient too while you're waiting for your school to be normal again. And in the meantime, please remember that we always need to be good to our neighbors. And even if that neighbor is someone we haven't met yet that needs our help, I was glad the people in the village of Corfy helped Dr. Gregg, and look at all the blessings they got just for being good people and helping that man who was hungry and tired and lost. Boys and girls, usually when we read our stories, we don't pray, but I feel like praying together today. Can I see your praying hands? Dear God, thank you for this special day, for the people that I love. Help me be a friend to all and guide me from above. Amen. Bye, boys and girls.